Everybody,
Hello.
Bristol Dirt was tonight. We're also live streaming these shows. Hopefully, we can live stream when I make the pre and post race shows for YouTube because that's something fun we do. We also live stream all our podcasts, and we do have a podcast, Below the Yellow Line. New episode tomorrow, recapping all things Bristol Dirt. But tonight, Christopher Bell gets his first win of the year. He becomes the 7th different driver in the 8 races this year to win, and now 6 different teams have won, which doesn't sound right. But wait, hang on. Penske, Hendrick, 2311, Gibbs. I'm trying to think. Who else? JTG Doherty at Daytona. Wow, 6 different teams have won.
That's very crazy for just however many races we've been.
Yeah, it has not been a very long season so far, and yet, we already have a lot of parity. It's not as much parity in terms of underdogs running towards the front as much, but it is still pretty prevalent. So, Emily, while I try to get this live stream situation figured out here, give me your overall thoughts on this race, what you thought of the racing product, what you thought of the winner, the finish, and all that.
Yeah, at one point I texted Samuel, I was like, this race is a mess, and there is no hope for Denny.
Denny had a rough night.
Towards the back, it was everybody or something like that. And, well, things just didn't go his way tonight. I lost count of how many cautions there were. And so, literally, the race was a mess. A lot of lead switches, a lot of battles for the lead, battles for second, third, fourth, even battles back to in the teens. And while the guy spinning, I was like, dang, someone just did a 360 and they didn't even call a caution.
Yeah. Actually, it wasn't 3 guys that did it, but Michael McDowell did a 360 twice. Eric Jones did it once. Race control, the guys throwing the caution lights are going to catch probably a well-deserved amount of flack tonight for the last caution, which ultimately caused the final restart. Kyle Busch spun. He spun right onto pit road, and they weren't calling cautions for guys spinning in the middle of the pack or hitting the wall. So that wasn't a good decision. I mean, that was shaping up to be a great natural battle between Reddick and Bell. It still would have been a great natural battle between Reddick and Bell in the final corner, except for Emily. It's kind of funny that we've been fake blaming Ross Chastain for all these disasters in world history, and he actually kind of ruined that last corner battle by wrecking on the backstretch on the final lap. So that's kind of ironic. You know, maybe he took it to heart. Maybe he said, okay, I am actually going to do that, which he and Trackhouse did release a pretty funny T-shirt that just said #blame Ross. So, you know, I'll get you that for your birthday so you can just blame Ross Chastain for everything in your everyday life.
Always blame Ross.
Always blame Ross in every situation, even when it is clearly not his fault. Yeah, I thought it was a great race tonight when there was actual racing. The thing is, there wasn't a ton of long runs, but that long run at the end, coming to the end of stage 2, was fantastic. You had 3 wide battles for the lead. And tonight was a race where pit strategy actually came more into play than I think we thought it would. Todd Gilliland in the 38, they play pit strategy for the 2nd week in a row, end up in 8th. Josh Berry played pit strategy for the 2nd week in a row. Where did he finish,
what the heck,
though?
Josh?
He didn't finish. He finished back in 27th. I'm not exactly sure what happened to him.
You know, he had hope at points, and it didn't in the end work out for him. But
yeah, I don't know what
he was up there.
What happened there, but he was up there. Shout out to Tom Gray for putting him up there 2 straight weeks. Not sure what's gonna happen. Well, he's not one of the ones affected. I am interested, Emily, to wonder what's gonna happen to Byron's interim crew chief and Bowman's interim crew chief, considering their crew chiefs were suspended for 2 weeks after the penalties announced on Thursday. I don't know whether their normal crew chiefs will face that suspension or their interim ones will, but we'll just kind of have to wait and see on that. It's kind of an interesting situation. Stage 1, a lot happened for just 75 laps. That's where you had Denny Hamlin get the bulk of his damage. Kyle Larson, though, dominated the stage and won the stage. But that was when a big story of the night, Kyle Larson versus Ryan Preece, got started. Larson got into Preece. Preece obviously didn't like that and kind of intentionally wrecked Larson later in the race, which, considering the precedent NASCAR set by penalizing Denny, Preece should be suspended. But that's probably not going to happen. Darn it, I had live point standings pulled up on my phone, and now NASCAR.com took them away, so we will not be able to look at point standings tonight.
Naturally. That's how we roll.
that's why we got a post-race podcast tomorrow, Monday night. So
That's right.
if you watch that or listen to that, you'll be able to get those beautiful point standings. So anyway, Priest, Larson walled Priest. Priest didn't like that. Priest ended up spinning. He had a broken toe link. He had a lot of stuff go wrong tonight. And so later in the race, around like lap 170, 180, Larson had already had, a rough second stage onward, spun a couple times, was in a wreck, and then Ryan Priest just took him out. Larson kind of came down the track, slid down the track. Priest ran him into the wall, and then Larson kind of came down, and then Priest just decided, okay, I'm just going to hang a right and, wreck Larson. So,
smash and crash, baby.
Yeah, smash and crash. Not a good night for either of your picks, though, Emily. Larson, wrecked. Denny had just an awful night.
It was awful. I had hope.
It wasn't a good night for my pick either, though. I picked Logano, and that didn't really work out. So I was thinking about picking Bell. I should have picked Bell.
A rough go pretty early on there.
He did, yeah. Logano won the truck race last night, and it looked like he could be a favorite again tonight, and just wasn't in the cards, unfortunately for him. Yeah. But the Priest Larson incident was a big deal. Austin Dillon tonight also, hey, shout out to him. Reddick won stage 2, but Dillon was second in stage 2, and Austin Dillon said, hey, this was one of my favorite races that I've ever ran. It was a lot of fun. And Dillon, he's a guy that gets a lot of flack for being a silver spoon, a guy that's had everything handed to him. But tonight he didn't run like that. He ran a great race, ends up in third. He's been terrible for the first part of this season. Let's not sugarcoat it. He's been awful through the first 7 races. It's not like Kyle Busch has been setting the world on fire aside from California, but Austin Dillon, very solid run for him. Ricky Stenhouse comes home in 4th. So they're proving they're not just a Daytona wonder. You look at last week, you look at Circuit of the Americas, they are running consistently better. And I know last week at Richmond, they had brake issues. But Coda, he ended up 7th, and he has a couple other top 10s this year as well, if I'm not mistaken. So Ricky Stenhouse looking better. Another guy that had a terrible start to the year, but kind of redeemed himself tonight. Chase Briscoe in the number 14 car nearly won this race a year ago, did a kamikaze move and wrecked Reddick, and neither of them won last year, but Briscoe in 5th. Haley got 25 points back from the appeals panel. Probably should have gotten them all back based on precedent, but again, we're not going to talk about that anymore. He has a solid 6th. Todd Gilliland, 3rd straight top 15 for him. 10th at Coda, 15th at Richmond last week on pit strategy, 8th here tonight. So I'm already kind of talking about it. Let's just go ahead and run through the full result sheet. Christopher Bell gets the win. Tyler Reddick ends up in 2nd at 45. Great here. Well, Reddick himself was great here last year. But Tyler Reddick is looking like a championship 4 caliber driver these past few weeks. I know Richmond didn't really show it, but the dominance at Coda and then here tonight, he looked really, really good. Dylan Stenhouse, oh no, is your house on fire?
Oh, do you hear that beeping?
Yeah. Is that the oven?
It's just preheated.
Oh, okay. That's not the smoke alarm. Okay, I got a little nervous there for a second. I was like, okay, get out of the house, first of all.
Oh, gosh.
Call emergency services on air.
Terribly obnoxious.
It really, it's like our washing machine, but not as happy. Our washing machine sings this little song every time it's done. It is. It's very happy. Very happy. Exactly.
Time to get your laundry.
It's all fresh and clean. But
yeah. So fresh and so clean.
Truex in 7th. Solid run for those guys. They're kind of progressively getting better. Ugh, can't talk. This happened. I am plagued with the not being able to speak in fluent English disease sometimes, and as I do it again. Todd Gilliland in 8th. Kevin Harvick in 9th. Solid run for him. Ty Gibbs, 4 straight top 10s. I don't know how we finish top 10 again tonight, but we're going to look up next week after Martinsville, and he's somehow going to be in the playoff field, which if he does make the playoffs as a rookie, it's been a while since somebody has made the playoffs as a rookie. I mean, Larson didn't do that. Bowman didn't do that. Byron did. Chase Elliott did. So it hasn't been an incredibly long time since someone made the postseason.
But it's not just the norm.
It's not the norm, no. Unless you're
not the norm at all.
So that'd be really impressive for him. 4 straight top 10s for Ty Gibbs, proving that, he can acclimate to the Cup Series pretty quickly. Michael McDowell in 11th, another solid week for him. He had 2 360 spins tonight, kept it going both times, and Even got nominated for Fox's Pod's Big Move of the Race, which, pretty neat for him. Bubba in 12th, solid day for those guys. He had some run-ins with Joey Logano. He got in the wall late. He was one of those guys that didn't pit after stage 1. And then he and Reddick had to come in before stage 2. And then guys like Bell, Bush, Dillon, they also stayed out after the end of stage 2 and kind of played that strategy game. But William Byron comes home in 13th. Not a great week for Byron. Eric Jones in 14th. Much needed, decent run for those guys. Same thing for Harrison Burton in 15th. Allmendinger 16th. Keselowski 17th. Chris Buescher 18th. Austin Cindric was around 31st with 10 laps to go. I have no clue how he finished 19th, but he did. He's been pulling finishes out of his rear end all year. And I think that's why he's somehow in the playoff picture right now. How about J.J. Haley in 20th? Emily, your guy Denny just dumped him last week. But also, qualified third for this race in the heat race and ends up a solid 20th. I mean, he was kind of a bust in Joe Gibbs Racing Equipment in the mid-2000s, but maybe at 47 years old, he's entering the prime of his NASCAR career. Who knows? Ty Dillon in 21st. He's just happy to finish above 30th tonight. First time in a while that he's run anywhere close to the front in the Cup race, so glad to see him. He was in the top 5, top 10 for a little bit there in stage 1. Denny in 22nd. Rough night from the start. Had to repair damage. I know you're not happy about it, Emily. What are your thoughts on Denny's second straight 22nd place finish?
I mean, I wonder what is he thinking? Like, does he think he's doing good? Like,
I don't know how he got the damage, but he qualified 27th, so he was just kind of back there in the lion's den.
Yeah, I thought he started somewhere around 30th. It was somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
He started not great. He stayed not great. I mean, did he break the top 20?
He did. He got up to 9th. He stayed out after stage 2. He got up to 9th on that strategy call. Just didn't have enough speed to keep it up there even with some of the guys that did.
Yeah, something's got to change momentum-wise for him.
Yeah. The good news for him, though, is that we're going to one of his home tracks in Martinsville next week. Home track always gives you a boost, but it's also a track at Martinsville where he is really good historically. Then we go to Talladega, another track where he's very good historically. So, better
Maybe
days.
There is hope in his future.
There is hope in the air for Denny Hamlin.
I started
Ryan
following
Blaney.
him on Twitter this week.
Did you really?
I did.
That you should tell him exactly what you just told me. Like, do you think you're doing good? And just see if he responds. Because he's one of the more.
Are you proud of yourself?
Yeah, are you proud of yourself, young man? Go to your room and think about what you've done. You're depressing all of us. Ryan Preece in 24th. We talked about him already, but yeah, he was all over the place tonight. His bad season continues up in the top 5, and then Larson kind of put him in the wall. Preece put Larson in the wall, and then he wrecked Kyle Larson. So he said it was an eye for an eye. It was more like an eye for like your torso and your legs and your feet and maybe your toenails too. If we're going off precedent again, that's race manipulation according to NASCAR. He admitted it over the radio, which was pretty clear, so he should be penalized. I'm just saying, I'm not a huge Hamlin fan or Hamlin advocate. But yeah.
Yeah.
We have 3 people watching the live stream. Hello. Oh, okay. Hello. I haven't checked the live stream in a minute. So yeah, hello everybody. Howdy. Daniel Suarez 25th. This was the first race this year where Trackhouse showed no speed whatsoever. I mean, can you think of a time this year, Emily, where either Suarez or Chastain just hasn't run well, like at all, shown no speed?
I mean, no, I don't know.
Yeah. Chastain's been in the top 5, it seems like every single lap this year.
They've been there.
Yeah. And Suarez has been in the top 15 most weeks, but Suarez is out of the playoffs for a reason. He just has not found that speed that he had last year.
Gosh, there was so much hope for him there for a little bit too.
There really was. I mean, he was really good in this race a year ago. Really good in 2021. Just wasn't his night tonight. BJ McLeod 26, Josh Berry 27. Like we said, solid run for him. Played the strategy game, just didn't get the finish. Chastain 28th brought out the caution on the backstretch that ultimately ended the race. And then you had Alex Bowman, 29th. I don't know what happened. I think when Blaney got spun, that's what happened to Blaney. He got spun on that last restart by Briscoe entering turn 1. And NASCAR didn't throw the caution, of course, because race control is incredibly inconsistent. But I think Bowman might have gotten damage in that or flat tire or something, which is a shame because he had worked his way up to 7th. So Payne is a Bowman fan. I was hoping, he could kind of have, maybe getting penalized again would, A, tell the team to stop making illegal modifications, but B, inspired him to go on a run, get that points lead back. Tonight was not the way you want to start that. Corey LaJoie, it's going to be really tough for him to point his way in now because one race like this for a team that's not going to consistently be in the top 10, top 15 every week. But, hey, this is his worst finish this year, and it was because of wreck damage. I mean, if you had told Spire that their worst finish based on just speed would be 26th at the start of this year and it'd be a track at Phoenix where they've never done well, they'd be fine with that. They're still having a really good year. Eric Almirola, 31st. I think he spun or wrecked or something. I'm not exactly sure what happened to him, but he was in the top 5 at some point tonight. Kyle Busch spun down pit road, Emily. I know you're happy to hear that. He ends up 32nd tonight.
Love to hear. Love to hear. Love to see.
Noah Gregson had another rough night, 33rd. Ty Gibbs has basically already wrapped up the Rookie of the Year award now, unless Noah Gregson just goes on an insane tear. Prayers out to Cody Ware. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, nor is it any of our business to know, but he was not in the 51 this week. Obviously, his dad owns that car, so any personal business Cody's going through. His dad, the team owner's likely going through that too, but 3-time truck champ Matt Crafton filled in, spun out, finishes 34th. But, I don't know what's going on with Cody Ware.
I think he was like, oh crap, this is the real deal.
Yeah, I'm in the Cup Series now. Only his 3rd Cup race, which, he's like 47 years old. He's a 3-time truck champ, done everything you can think of in the Truck Series, but hasn't really ever dipped his toe into Cup racing except in a substitute role. So I'd love to see him, run more Cup races, but he's happy. I guess we're fine. Larson, 35th, just a rough night for him. Jonathan Davenport, whose nickname is something really cool, but I can't remember it. He's a great dirt racer, very famous dirt racer. He ends up 36th. And Logano, 37th. Anything really surprising on that lineup chart, Emily? Anything not so surprising?
I mean, no. Not necessarily surprised by anything, I would say.
Was there anybody that ran?
Surprised?
I'm surprised by, I don't know how Justin Haley finished 6th.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm surprised Ty Gibbs did so good for his first dirt race. I don't know where that came in. Aside from that, not a ton of surprises. I was surprised that there were so many guys up front at this race than there were from the past 2, just because the circumstances in this race seem so much different in terms of track condition and the weather conditions we were running in. But it looks like now we've established a consistent 3, 4, 5 driver group that are going to be players every time we go there. It's going to be Briscoe, Bell, Reddick, Stenhouse, and Kyle Busch. Those are the 5 guys that we expect to see up there, and Logano when things don't go drastically wrong. I think that's about all we have for tonight, Emily. Hopefully we can get you on the post-race podcast tomorrow.
Yeah.
Going to be a lot of fun. I've sent out some proposals for sponsors for that podcast, so we might, I might be having to read actual ads. We might be having like legit commercial breaks now. Yeah, I might still include a couple of those, but we might like legit be advertising some people. So if I tell you to go listen to another podcast or buy a product, you should really buy that product. You should really do it because you can trust me 100%. I'm not a used car salesman.
We're not going to have sponsors that we don't believe in.
Exactly. They're also not paying. They're also not going to pay me enough money because I don't value ourselves very high because we're so small. They're not going to pay me enough money where I feel like I have to lie to you guys. So I'm starting off as a very honest businessman. There
you go.
But yeah, Bristol Dirt, great race. Christopher Bell gets the win, locks himself into the postseason, which I wasn't really worried about that for him, but still does it. And I believe he does have the regular season points lead now over Ross Chastain. So Bell, he's won 5 races. He's the winningest driver at JGR since 2021. If you don't think Bell's an elite cup driver, that's where you're wrong. So Emily,
how old is he?
Young, like 24, 25.
I thought he was like 12 when he got out of his car today.
Yeah, he has a really young face. Emily, tell everybody and the viewer, well, everybody is the viewers, tell all the viewers what they need to do.
Yeah, like, subscribe, and comment down below.
Do that.
Tell
Share
your
the
friends,
video.
Tell everybody.
Exactly. Share the video. Share the channel. Be here at the Below the Yellow Line podcast tomorrow. We stream on the channel. We put them out on all major podcast platforms. Thank you all for watching, everybody. I'm Samuel Stubbs. That's Emily. Goodbye. Okay, we kept it under 20 minutes by 2 seconds. I will take it.
Nuh-uh. That's impressive.
All right. I'm going to say adios to everybody in the YouTube live stream. Goodbye there and stream. Okay.